Hello, I'm Alan and welcome to RV Adventures. Before we head on our next adventure, I'm here today with our Casita trailer. Our toilet has got a little leak, so let's go inside and check it out. Hi Sonny, you ready to go on an adventure too? Alright, let's take a look here. I've already purchased the replacement valve that's going to replace the one that's leaking. Okay, we're going to get back here behind the toilet and we see that the valve is located right there. What's been going on with this valve is when we're hooked up to city water, we get some water that puddles right in this area. And after looking at the valve, I've determined that the leak is most probably coming from where this black part of the bottom of the valve is attached to the housing of the valve there. It's not something that you can take apart and fix. There's no leak around the arm that works from the pedal. When the pedal's depressed, it pulls this little arm. There's no leak coming out around that arm. There's also no leak over here where the hose attaches that the water goes into the toilet. You can see the water going into the toilet. There's no leak around that hose anywhere. So it is inside the valve, most likely right here where the two pieces join together. That's the only part of the valve where there's a seam. There's no leak here where the supply hose attaches on the bottom. I've checked that out. So let's take it apart. One thing you need to make sure you do is you turn off your water supply before you start anything. All right, let's go up. Okay, we'll unhook our hose, let all the water drain out. Let that pressure off. Let all that water come out. And then we'll go inside and open some valves so that the water will all drain out. I'm going to turn on the cold water valve a couple places so that any water that's left over in the system drain out. Let that water drain out there. I'll go in here, open this valve, make sure all the water drains out here. As soon as all the water finishes draining, then I'll take the valve off the toilet. Okay, all the water has drained out, so now I can remove the supply hose and change the valve out. Okay, removing the valve is a simple three-step process. You want to put down some towels on your floor underneath your water supply hose so residual water that's in there don't make a big mess. We're going to take some channel locks. It may only be finger tight, but I tried it and it can be done with your finger. Put the channel lock, loosen it a little bit. You just unscrew this supply valve fitting. It's going to have a lot of water leaks out because it's in the line. Let that water bubble up and drain on the towel on the floor. And then that's unhooked. Next thing you have to do is over here on this side, the water supply hose that goes feeds the water into the toilet. When you depress the foot, you just pull it off. It just sits there like that. And then there is a Phillips screw that holds the valve to the toilet right here. We'll take this screw out, set it off to the side, and then there's a little tab here that you lift up on, and then this slides right out just like that. And after you get it slid out, there's a little connecting rod right here that goes to the flush valve. You just tilt it up and it just comes right out. It's got a little angle on it there, and that's why you have to kind of tilt it up and pull it up, and then that releases the valve. Now that we have the valve out, you can look at it and see that this is where I suspected the leak was occurring, right where this black part of the housing meets the housing here. So these two screws here hold the flush valve release plunger right here. It holds it inside, and this mechanism just flushes the toilet when you put water in it. When it's open, when it's closed, no water should leak out. There wasn't any water leaking around here. The water was down at the bottom, and since that's something you can't fix, I chose to replace the valve. There's no other place anywhere where water is going to leak out. The water that flows out here into the bowl just flows out. It's not under pressure at any time, so there was no leak here at all either. Okay, we'll take the new valve out of the packaging. There's an instruction sheet there, and there's a toilet flange as well. If you were to replace the toilet or pull the bowl up off the holding tank, there's a new flange in this kit. I'm not going to use that because I'm not removing the toilet. I'm just going to use the new valve. So I'm going to reverse the procedure and put the valve in. Okay, I've got the new valve and we're ready to reassemble it on the back of the toilet. This piece here is a little slide. You can see that it has a little, maybe you can see this, it's got a little bit of a grooved angular piece here that fits into the toilet itself in a slot made specifically for that. So first thing we have to do is reattach this little arm to the flush assembly. You can push down on the flush assembly and it moves it out a little bit. You can drop it in the little hole at the angle, kind of push down a little bit on it, and it snaps right in place. Then you take your angle, line up your angle of your flush valve, little slot thing that I showed you. It helps to push the lever down to get it kind of straight. Then you slide it in the slot there, and you slide it until it snaps in place. Right here. And it snaps down in a little holder right there. And now the valve is fully in place like it should be. We're going to put the screw back in place. So, right here, put this little screw. Right there. Tighten that up. That secures it to the toilet. We're going to put our discharge hose back on that feeds the water into the bowl when you press the flush mechanism. And that just kind of squeezes on there. I'm going to use my channel locks to grab the hose and just make sure it's nice and firm all the way like it should be. Push, yes, it's firm. Now all I have to do is reattach the supply hose. Okay, now that I've got the valve back in place, I'll attach the supply hose by just bringing it up to the valve and screwing the supplies hose connection onto the threads on the bottom of the valve. Go finger tight and just a little bit past that. Let's get it good and snugged up. There we go. Now, I'm going to work the flush valve a couple times just to make sure that the lever doesn't get into a bind and everything is working properly. That looks good. All right, now I got to go outside, turn back on the supply water, and we'll come back in. Now, supply water is back on. I'm going to check everywhere for leaks. Don't feel anything, don't see any water anywhere. Everything is like it should be. Looks good and dry. No leaks that I can visually see. Now I'm going to work the flush lever to run some water into the bowl. Don't see any leaks. A little bit of air in the line just getting out. And go all the way. Full force. Close the valve. Check again. No leaks. Nope. Everything's good and snug there. It's not leaking. Do that again. This is the partial depress of the flush valve to put water in the bowl. And then we'll push it all the way down to flush it. Going into the tank now. Okay. I still don't see any leaks. Everything looks good. All right. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that it doesn't leak again. Thank you for joining me today on this RV adventure as I repaired the toilet flush valve that was leaking. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it helps you to know how easy it is to do. Until next time, get out and enjoy an RV adventure. If you like this video, please like it and click to subscribe.
Please share your comments below and click the subscribe button. Thank you.